Well, here we are then at another glorious Sunday service in an almost sunny Worcestershire.
Yeah, it's rather chilly still really, isn't it?
It is a bit, but you have dressed for the occasion, so you're looking pretty dapper.
I'll do what I can. Should we go and look at some cars?
Let's do it.
Come to Sunday services regular, have done for 4 or 5 years now. The general mix of cars, the great venues, especially Morgan. This is our second Morgan Sunday service.
Meeting new people and talking about the different cars they have, looking at what I'm going to be able to afford in the future.
Well, first up we've got our driving the three-wheeler booked, so looking forward to that, and then we're looking forward to the factory visit.
We are here in Morgan's factory with Jon Wells, who's head of design, and he's going to give us a good look around. So, where's best to start?
Certainly, I think we start at the top of the factory and work our way down the hill.
Brilliant.
Chassis shop first.
Let's go.
So this is the chassis, a typical chassis for a Morgan car. This is actually an aero chassis that we're looking at here. As you can see, a very modern chassis, all aluminium construction, and this is where it all starts for us. So one of our technicians here will take about 40 hours to assemble all the components onto this by hand to make this into a running and operational chassis. Just behind us here, we can see the 4.8 litre BMW V8 that will be dropped into this tub. That has either a manual or an automatic 6-speed gearbox. And they're very modern suspension, fuel tank, and all the electrical loom go into this as well. And this will actually drive and move as a vehicle, which is great for me in design because this is basically my canvas.
So what's the next step on from this then? Where do we go from here?
So after this, we'll have a quick look at the fully complete chassis, and then we start looking at how the body is attached on top of that in our body shops. So this is what we were talking about. This is a fully built up, ready to roll chassis for a Plus 8.
The next step is literally to put the body onto the chassis as it is here.
We'll go into the wood shop and see the next bit.
After you.
So this here is a wooden frame for one of our classic Morgans. Well, what we're doing here at Morgan, as you can see, is taking a modern chassis and putting a coach-built body on top. We call it 21st century coach building. And the ability to move and change wood whilst you're building the car enables you to build cars completely and truly by hand. It's also very lightweight, very green. It's got some natural vibration reducing properties too, believe it or not. And it's just a really nice material to work with.
Excellent, okay. And so what's the next step from here then? Where do we go from here?
So from here, we're going to start applying some aluminium bodywork onto this form and start seeing the car come into shape. What we have here, as you can see, the car starting to take shape a little bit now. This is a classic body that's being put together, and you can see the aluminium is beginning to take shape on top of the wooden frame we just saw.
And the aluminium you use here, where is it sourced from?
We essentially get our aluminium in two sort of guises. Aluminium used here on the classic body comes in a flat sheet form, and it's down to these guys to trim this into shape and then hand beat these around onto the wood, adding the curvature and shaping them into place. Alternatively, some of our panels are superformed, which is a very modern process carried out just down the road in Worcester. And these much more elaborate forms and curvature come in and then also get hand fitted to the wooden body like this. So you can see here the back end of an aero coupe and some of that superform aluminium that I was talking about. And this is all formed in one panel. So everything from here to the back here is one sheet of aluminium, which has been formed. The task then is for our craftsmen to cut and finish and put this into place on the wooden frame.
What's the next step from here then? Where do we go?
We're going to pop the wings on, the bonnets, and then we're going to go into paint.
Okay, let's go.
This is our final body assembly room. As you can see here, the cars are just having the bonnets handmade and fitted into place. And this is an example of a car that's ready to go into paint. That's exactly where we're going now. Cool. So, the cars are then completely stripped down and each individual component is painted, ready to go to final assembly. Once the bodies have been painted, you can see here that they begin to be trimmed. So the same wooden frame that we saw holding the body panels is also used as the B surface to take the interior panels. As you can see, this car is being trimmed in a sort of teal leather. We can offer any colour you can imagine. All of our leathers are 100% very natural, very real leathers and of very high quality. In this shop, we're also looking at seats and hood assemblies too, which is also trimmed by hand. So we'll have a quick look at those and we'll move on. So we try to make as much as we can here at Morgan. The hood frames for the cars are made in our machine shop and they're assembled, And then here the guys are hand trimming the fabric into place, which is obviously quite a technical job to get that to fold and stow away neatly and also be watertight and solid when it's up. That's the car nearing completion. Let's just see it in final finish. So this is final fit.
Okay, and what happens here?
Well, basically here, everything we've seen so far comes together. So we've got our painted body, which is now trimmed on the inside too. And we start adding things like our headlights, our bright work, the interior bits like dials and dashboards, and our wheels. Next step is to make sure everything's working as it should be, and we do a quality check. Now the cars have just had their final test drive, and they come in here for a sort of PDI, quality inspection and check. The paint is polished up, everything's detailed and just touched up, and made sure that the cars are in absolute pristine condition.
So this is it, ready to go to a happy customer.
It is indeed. This is a
Fantastic.
finished Morgan, ready to be collected.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been really interesting to go have a look around the factory.
No problem at all. It's been great to have you here. Thank you. Cheers, thank you.